Hi, good people. This is Deborah. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Let me read the disclaimer. All information presented on this channel is meant solely for educational purposes. This channel does not endorse or support inappropriate use of any information. The content provided in this presentation is for educational and informative objective only. It represents findings, historical documentation, and public data set shifts in America. This material does not serve as legal, financial, or professional guide. Embrace what resonates with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. I urge you to pursue your research and form your own conclusion. Now, many of you know about this already. And there are those that know about this and they walk in silence because they're benefiting from it. This particular video is Privilege by Zip Code, the invisible map of inequality. Now, as always, I'm always reading from my notes so that I won't miss a point. The embedded social, economic, and historical issues. The truth is that zip codes in America are not just geographical labels, they are silent markers that influence access to resources, opportunities, and even life expectancies. The hidden truth about zip codes. Zip codes were never neutral. When the U.S. Postal Service introduced zip codes in 1963, its primary purpose was to facilitate mail sorting. However, as data systems advanced, government agencies, banks, insurers, and corporations began using zip codes as a shorthand for demographic, income levels, and crime rates and property values. Reading, redlining, and historical segregation. Much of the privilege disparity stems from redlining practice in 1930 to 1960s, when banks, insurers, and federal housing agency drew red lines around specific neighborhoods using communities of color and denied them loans, service, or investment. These undesirable zip codes fell into cycles of disinvestment. In contrast, wealthier, which is albinos and some call Black elites of African heritage, zip codes flourish with infrastructure, good schools, business opportunities. The privileged economic of a zip code. Today, your zip code can determine the quality of public schools, access to grocery stores versus fast food and liquor stores, policing and incarceration rates, property values, and tax revenue for public service, loan approvals, credit offers, even the price you pay for car insurance, health insurance, premium, and funding. State in many American cities, life expectancy can differ by 20 to 30 years between zip codes, just as a few miles apart. Data profiling through zip codes. Corporations and tech firms use your zip codes to profile buying habits, predict income, voting tendencies, health risk, market specific product to you, often reinforcing socioeconomic divides. Why some get privilege? Because wealth attracts infrastructure, meaning the fundamental system, service, and facilities necessarily for a community or organized to function. A political power. High earning zip codes benefits from low crime rates, better schools with more funding, including material, favorable zoning laws to block certain businesses, more public investment, better lobbying power, higher property value, better funding public schools, access to quality healthcare facilities, more grocery stores, healthy food options, lower car insurance, faster emergency response time, more jobs and business opportunities, better infrastructure like roads, parks, utilities, easier loan approvals and credit offers, higher life expectancy. You know, you get better food, you get higher, your life expectancies is better. Greater political influence and vote turnout. Let's look at the word gentrification. Gentrification is going on all the time, especially here in Georgia. I see it all the time. Whenever they want to get rid of the poor people in the neighborhood and the rich folks want that neighborhood, they make the rent very high, and these people have to move out. And what they do, they go into the area and they make it be what they want it to be. And they make the rent higher, or they make the living higher to the lower working class person can't even purchase or rent. They know what they're doing. They're always doing gentrification. So it simply means when wealthy elites, developers, corporate interests want a particular area, they do not necessarily want to share it with the existing lower income residents. So they use economic pressure by raising costs as a tool of indirect displacement. They don't want you to know what they're doing. Gentrification is a form of modern colonization. It takes land and resources from vulnerable people for the benefit of wealthy, dressed up as a urban renewal of progress. Now, it is a legal, quiet way to evict people without physically removing them. Why? They may view poor communities as a detrimental to property value, an image, or as a barrier to attracting financially privileged businesses. It is done by raising costs, rent, taxes, groceries, transportation, decreasing affordable housing, bringing in luxury apartments, high end businesses, and exclusionary services, using police presence to control and criminalize the poor as the area transaction. In capitalism systems, land and housing are often treated as commodities rather than a human right. Those with money control policy, development, and city planning decisions. They use their influence to create land laws, zoning, tax breaks that favor profit over people. Look at what they did in Georgia. They came up with the lottery system, and they put out there what they said they were going to do with the lottery system. And taking care of the school system was one of them. They make parents buy the supplies for their children here in uh, Atlanta. Now, maybe the rich don't supply the supplies for their children, but the poor and the middle class certainly do. Or else they will be picked on, their children will be picked on. Now, this creates a self reinforcement system of privilege. Those born into desirable or live zip code inherit more opportunities, while others inherit systematic disadvantages. Here are some zip codes of privilege in my state, which is Georgia. 30327. The median is 182K. Zip code 3005. That's in Alpharetta. Some of the areas that you see, like Dunwoody, uh, let me see, Roswell Road, those are pretty much the 30327 zip code. I lived in the 30327 zip code. And believe it or not, even though it said Dunwoody, I lived in Dunwoody. It actually was a part of Fulton County. Zip code 3075, no, 30075, that's Roswell, and 30022, that's Alpharetta, and 30004, that's Alpharetta and Milton. Now I live in the 300331 zip code right now. You get absolutely nothing. Everything that you pay for is high. Now, years ago, as I've told you before, I lived in the 300327 zip code. Now, I was given a credit card, and this was many years ago, almost 35 years ago, maybe 40. Let's see. Yeah, it was 40 years ago. I was given a credit card for $100,000. And I thought it was because I worked for IBM at the time. No, sometime later I found out it was actually due to the zip code that I lived in. You were definitely privileged. Now, my final thought: arguments for eliminating zip code based advantages. Everyone should have equal access to quality education, and it should be free. Healthcare should be free, as it is a basic necessity, regardless of one's location. The privilege associated with zip codes often reflect historical issues such as redlining, segregation, and economic exclusion. Eradicating these barriers would foster fair opportunities and enhance health results across different communities. Arguments for keeping them or limiting changes. Some content that the market dynamics naturally influence neighborhood conditions with higher taxes, leading to improved services. Additionally, this encourages investment and enables local government to oversee resources anonymously. Reality check. The core issue is not existence of zip codes themselves, but rather how they are utilized to limit opportunities and concentrate wealth. The emphasis should be on dismantling the system that manipulate them. A fairer solution. Resources should be redistributed equally. Discriminatory system should be reformed, and investment in marginalization communities is essential, all while avoiding the displacement of residents through gentrification. Zip code privilege is not incidental. It is created system embedded in policies, segregation, and economic control. It represents one of the subtle method through which power maintains itself in contemporary societies. I've listed one reference for you, and this particular reference is for Georgia. Um, I'm pretty sure that many of you know this information already, but I thought I'll just recap it and bring it to your attention again, just that you can be aware. It's best to go into zip codes that are privileged. Sadly to say, um, it's unfortunate unless you're going to get out there and stop the privilege, and that requires work. Okay, good people, take care.